Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to AGDQ 2015. After that staggering Tetris display, we're going to have a Shovel Knight set up right now. I'm going to try and get through some of these donations we've got here. We got $500 from Gregory Singer, who just simply says, "My face fell off." Thank you, Gregory. $100 from Zabby Cat, who says, "I've never been as tense watching a stream as I have during Tetris. Absolutely loving it." Donation Thomas says, "I thought Sinister One was our only Jedi. It would seem Kevin DDR is another." $100 says, "Only two words can sum up what I just saw. Mind blown." Guys, we're going to have to be closing the Shovel Knight donation incentives up here soon, so go ahead and get your final bids in for those. That is the file name bid war and the armor color. And during Shovel Knight, we do have an awesome Mole Knight Perler that was made by Mecha Richter, which has a $10 minimum bid on it, which you guys can get your bids in on that. Get your chance to win yourself your own Perler of Mole Knight. Having a dominant Anime 161 sends me $100 saying, "I had to donate during my 2014 Game of the Year. Shovel Knight is absolutely amazing and has easily become one of my favorite games of all time. Let's keep the donations going and get rid of cancer for good. Shovel Knight, hype!" $50 from 4772. Says, "The Tetris exhibition was insane. I'm still trying to process what I just saw. I finally found my jaw and picked it up off the floor. Can't wait for Shovel Knight, and remember to kill the animals, save the frames." Ladies and gentlemen, while we are setting up for Shovel Knight, I want to take this moment to thank all of our donators that have helped us to reach the milestone of $450,000. I would like to point out that is just the donations that have come in through our tracker. That does not include the Humble Bundle or any of the other cool stuff and other ways that you can donate. Again, from the bottom of my heart and from everybody here and around the world that will help. Thank you to everybody that has donated. I have a $50 donation from Bantam Sam, who said, I have been looking forward to the Shovel Knight run since it was announced. Capndrake is amazing, and Shovel Knight is one of my favorite games ever. I've lost far too many people to cancer in my life and see people struggle with it on a daily basis in my job. Let's bury cancer forever. For Shovelry! Yeah. I have an anonymous $25 donation that says, money is tight for me after the holidays, but we are so close to hitting the goal of 500,000. I really wanted to be a part of it. First year watching, thank you so much. Not just the spectacular performances in all gaming genres, but to the fact that it's to prevent cancer. I hope to come back next year and donate 10 times what I'm able to this year. Thank you, guys. Don't worry about how big or small your donation is, or even if you can't donate in general. Any amount helps, and if you cannot donate, please share the stream. Okay. Please get on social media, get on your networks. The hashtag is AGDQ2015. Get the word out there. You might be able to bring in someone that can donate, and any money, more eyes on us, any money we can get goes to an excellent cause.
Oh,
okay.
Hi.
All right.
Hello. Hopefully this is on.
All right, it's on.
Sounds like it.
Cool.
Okay, we need the donation totals for file name and color.
I'm pulling those up now. They're taking a second to load.
All right.
Okay, your armor color will be pink.
Good color.
Good color.
Thank you.
We're about to see some top tier cheat codes right here.
Which one with $835.
Counts as a cheat. Unlocks achievements.
And your file name will be M. Sapin. M-S-A-P-I-N. Which one with $1,009.50. Thank you to everybody that donated for that. Good luck, Capndrake.
Godspeed.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
Well, I'm Drake, and I'm running the game.
I'm Tetsuya. I don't know much about this game, but I'm going to be chiming in from time to time.
I'm Sent, and I'm another any percent runner.
I'm N4H. I'm also another NE% runner.
Also, before we start, shoutouts to those Tetris guys, because whatever your speed game is, it's never as hard as something like that. It makes me feel a lot better about anything I strive to do in my life. So there's no worrying about following up something like that.
Oh. All right.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so this is Shovel Knight. It's a fun little run and jump platformer by Yacht Club Games. It takes a lot of influences from Zelda 2, Mega Man, Castlevania. Really great game to play around with casually. You can see Drake is sporting the lovely pink armor that everyone donated for.
Why does the music slow down?
Yeah, what's the...
You know, that was happening earlier with New Super Mario Land too. Are you okay with that, Drake?
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
The music is usually a lot more upbeat. a little sad.
All right, good. We cleared the first platform. Surprisingly, that platform claims many more runs than I'd like to admit.
Yeah.
The platform's momentum is actually like put against your own, so you run very slow when you're trying to run against it, and a lot of times you will jump, land on the spikes, and well, it looked really silly. So the main gimmick of Shovel Knight, of course, is the shoveling. You stop and shovel in place if you shovel on the ground, but if you jump, then you can shovel while still moving, and when you land, you'll be able to move immediately again. Also, while jumping, you can point your shovel downward and bounce off of enemies and objects, and that can be used to climb things, like that ladder there, saves a little bit of time.
You can also pretty much jump to cancel just about anything you do, including attacking from the ground, so there'll be a lot of that too.
Not only does this game take inspiration from, it also takes a lot of mechanics from games like DuckTales and Castlevania in the form of jump canceling your attack and pogoing and things like that.
Jumping is also the fastest way to get up to maximum speed from a standstill, so anytime you see Drake get off of a ladder or, you know, any place he has to stand still, he'll probably jump to start moving again. Like right there.
This is the tutorial level, nothing really major, nothing difficult.
Very, very easy level, very casual level, but coming up here we are going to see the first boss, and a recurring boss in the game, the Black Knight, who is the evil counterpart to Shovel Knight.
Who's laughing really slow.
Yeah, you noticed.
We could?
I say up to Drake.
Stop the timer.
Alright. We stop the timer.
So, yeah, you might have noticed a little bit of an audio difficulty. Looks like they're going to stop and see if they can't fix that before we continue.
I promise the music is usually really, really hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can hear it.
It's like
Yeah.
New Super Mario Land, where it was half speed.
How bizarre.
I'll make it safe first.
Which is a shame. The first track is really, really good.
Big shout-outs to
should I quit
everyone who
right
worked on the music in this game. And they actually got Miname Matsume of Mega Man fame to come in as a guest composer and do some work on the game.
While we're waiting, I'd like to give a shout out to Yacht Club Games, the developers of this game, who kitted out the entire couch, the runner, and some of the front row with Shovel Knight shirts.
Yeah, they're really good shirts.
Anything now?
They are very good bribes.
That sounds normal. That sounds normal.
Okay.
It sounds normal. We're good.
Yep, that's normal.
We have normal sound.
Yay!
Should I count down again?
Just start that way.
Okay.
You want just a file?
I mean,
Just
should
start
I
down.
there? Yeah.
Should I restart or countdown? Okay.
All right, we're going.
So Drake's actually going to go to the village here, even though he doesn't need anything. You actually have to go to the village before you can choose to move on to either of these stages. Drake's going to go to Spectre Knight first in the Lich Yard. Stage choice between the first two bosses, Spectre Knight and King Knight, doesn't matter a terrible amount because Drake isn't going to pick up any items in either stage. This just minimizes the RNG of an enemy that will spawn after this stage. And here we're introduced to the first of many annoying enemies in this game, frogs.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Frogs can jump at one of 3 different heights, at one of 3 different timings, can choose to stand still, and also choose to attack with lightning, and do these in any combination. So, they are very annoying and random.
Unpredictable and dangerous.
So the real gimmick of Spectre Knight's stage is these dark rooms where you can only see parts of the background and Shovel Knight's shadow, but you know, they're really not too hard, especially if you know exactly what's in the room.
until invisible electric frogs.
So these platforms with the skeletons doing pull-ups won't move in less Shovel Knight, and at least one other enemy is on them, or the enemy's head that it drops when it dies.
It is not necessarily Shovel Knight, it is at least 2 things. So if you have more than 2 things on there, and Shovel Knight is trying to, get it up, you gotta kill those guys fast. Or
Right,
get done.
in New Game Plus you can actually use the mobile gear to weigh those platforms down and save a bit of time.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hello?
Hey.
Hi. Let's go.
So why don't you introduce yourselves to everyone who don't know who the dev commentators are?
Well, right now you have, I'm Nick Lucky, I know on Pixels League, and you also have Sean And there's also in the room is Shane, and he's the guy working on the PlayStation ports.
Really exciting.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool.
Nice to meet you all.
Very nice.
And, I'm David D'Angelo, and I worked on other programming stuff like bosses and gameplay.
So this is Spectre Knight, and Drake is actually playing on the newest version of the game, and one of the patch notes for the newest version said made Spectre Knight a little more reliable, which apparently means that he always just teleports away from you at the start of the fight, so, that's great.
It's predictable, but it's not as fast as it was before.
Oh, Drake
That was
just
a
barely
very
missed
good
it,
fight,
but it was a very good fight anyway.
It's solid.
So,
So we know that some people at Yacht Club Games are even involved a little bit in speedrunning and have talked to the community, but have you guys in particular seen the run of Shovel Knight before?
a little bit of it. I saw, I've seen a couple different runs, and it's always mind blowing to see techniques that are happening.
So this is the only bit of overworld RNG we're really going to see. Very, very nice of the devs. They actually patched out most of it in the most recent patch, but that first enemy can still get you sometimes. Luckily, it's only a couple of seconds lost.
And on top of that, luckily, it also gives you a pretty good amount of gems.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd say a lot of us have been watching speedruns and kind of seeing the competition and seeing the crazy things that have been coming out of the community. Ever since we started working on Shovel Knight, making the game accessible to speedrunners and something that speedrunners would want to speedrun was a big priority. Even during the beta of the game, we gave out to speedrunners, had them try it out, and got their feedback on everything. We did the speedrun, basically like a speedrunner update. So to see the game being run here is really exciting.
We really appreciate the changes you made just on our, it's amazing to see developers pay so much attention to a small community that really loves their games, so thank you very much.
Small community, nothing. You guys are a big part of it.
For sure, yeah. And I mean, I don't know, it's I came up running Metroid, and I mean not incredibly well, but it's Super Metroid. It was getting it under an hour, and just doing some of the skips. What was the site? It was Metroid 2002. I think.
Yeah.
It was it had all the tips and everything on it, and so yeah, I mean to be able to make something that's run like that is really exciting.
So yeah, Drake moved on to take King Knight second. He has to defeat both King Knight and Spectre Knight before he can move on. But this stage introduces my favorite enemy in the game, the Propeller Rat. It is a rat. It has a propeller. Maybe Yacht Club Games didn't really reach too far for that one.
There seems to be a rat theme.
Its official name is Propeller Rat.
Yeah, he sort of became the unofficial Met of our game.
Yeah.
And then we ended up doing a lot of rats, right?
Oh,
like
right. Yeah, like he comes in different forms. There's like the plague rat.
Right, like the clockwork tower
There's the
rat,
the
like
gear rat, the plague
Wind-up rat.
Yeah.
yeah. That was all very much influenced by this game existed as this one-stage demo featuring King Knight, for at PAX and when we were bringing it around, and so having the rat in there, I think, influenced many future enemies for sure.
So speaking of King Knight, Drake has a pretty cool strat here. I'm not sure who found it, but basically if you jump and hit King Knight and then down stab while you're in his hitbox, you can get a couple of hits and bounce up to the ceiling off of him, which lets you kill him very quickly.
I didn't go exactly according to plan, but it's still a very solid
still
fight.
A very good fight. So now Drake's gonna go back to the first town for the only time in the game and purchase almost everything you'll see outside of stages. Every level actually has a hidden chest in it. Well, most of them are hidden with an item that you can purchase. But after you defeat the level, the item returns to that first town where you can buy it for slightly more money. And we actually used to get the items in the level, both of the items, the flare rod and the phase locket, until we timed it and found out that even though it costs 1,500 more gems to buy them in town, it saves something like 30 seconds to do so. And after every 3 levels... sorry.
No, I was just going to say that's something that we were definitely thinking about with the town. It's like we tried to localize everything in there, and we were thinking like, oh, are people even going to go to the town? Are they going to return to the town, or are they going to grin and bear it with the meager amount of items that are given out like outside?
And the other question I actually had was like, when you're doing that event just now, was it also to get gold, or like because you do die and end it faster? Did you guys time that out as well?
He's actually going to die in the other two. That one we need the money because Drake is going to buy both the flare rod and the phase locket, 2 magic upgrades, and then he's immediately going to go to Lost City to get Dust Knuckles. So, a lot of money. And in fact, he's actually going to get the musical note hidden in this room for 500 extra gems.
Yeah.
Fun fact, that guy's name is Chester, and he is the guy who sells you the sub-weapons even when you find him in the later levels, because he hides in a chest.
Yeah. You know about the chest. We started and we're like, okay, there's this chest character that we're gonna make. What should his name be? And it's like, how about Chester? And it's like, okay, let's do this. Yeah, let's come back to that one.
Never came back.
Wow.
We were talking before the run.
I just love the quick menu navigation with them too.
We were talking before the run and discussing whether or not you guys would come with your own puns. I'm glad to know that it was part of the development process of the game.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we're punning all the time around here, and it's most of what you see in the game is like just ridiculous jokes and goofy things that we've been saying throughout the development that we just couldn't help but put in.
Yeah, it's a little expensive.
So there are 2 of these beetle auto-scrollers in this level, but we don't really care for them, so we're going to use the phase locket to get some extra distance on our jumps and just go right through it.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's so good.
Beetle is too slow.
We actually used to have a strat where we manipulated that blue bird down there and bounced off of him through there, but that was absolutely awful, and no one ever wants to do that again.
Those are nuts. Those are called birders. Birders.
Murder's a birder.
I'm not sure if it's been touched on, but Drake is actually hitting these checkpoints. And the cool thing about checkpoints is you can either use them as a traditional continue checkpoint, or you can destroy them. And that demolishes their use as a checkpoint in exchange for what's within the checkpoint. So he's just wrecking every one that gives him a lot of money. So if he dies, he's in big trouble. He has to redo the whole level.
And he loses a fourth of his money.
And a fourth of his money, but he's banking literally on the fact that he won't die.
And also, you need the money for later in the run. He needs to buy a lot of things still.
Right, like the Dust Knuckles right here.
This guy.
I do remember reading from a dev statement somewhere that originally you guys had like a Wario Land idea for the checkpoints where you had to insert money to use them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, basically, it was like a plinth that you would stand on, and it would lower like from your weight. But if you didn't have enough money, then like you wouldn't be heavy enough, and so you couldn't save. So yeah, it initially cost money, but we realized that we were punishing players that were maybe not quite as good. And so they wouldn't be able to get the checkpoints because they wouldn't have enough cash. So in a moment of genius, we all turned it on its head and we're like, oh yeah, what if we just swap it out? And it ended up working really great. That's how a lot of things happened on this game and kind of on everything that we work on. Is it's all that's so right. It's all just very, very iterative, and we learn through playing the game and putting it in front of people and just testing and testing and testing. Like Shovel Knight wasn't. It wasn't like the well-honed experience that it is now for all of the development, right?
I actually had a question for you guys. The first skip was clearly, something speedrunners come up, but was that one intentional? Because those blocks kind of look positioned just perfectly for a dust knuckle jump.
I mean, we'll play it and like test that kind of stuff out.
Right. It's like, is this possible? Can we do it? And a lot of times I would, it's like I would put something there where we'd adjust the block and it'd be like, oh look, you can do this without the beetle if you're really super good.
Yeah. Or it's like one
nice
tile off, and if it's moved up a little bit, it'll work.
Right.
And so we just do it, right?
Yeah, many things were adjusted just to make it so, like the positions where a lot of the platforms spawn were set up. So if you're running at full speed, then when you get there, the platform will be in a spot where you can jump on it and you don't have to wait for it.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, for the most part. So yeah, I mean, we definitely had that in mind. But that first beetle, I was not expecting that. You could use the phase locket to kind of cheat your way across a longer pit. But that has never been done internally.
So do you use, for your relic use, are you using the third button or are you using the up and attack?
I use the up plus attack combo.
Really?
Personally, I do too.
I use relic button.
We all like Castlevania.
Yeah.
I'm also a keyboard user.
I am too, though. So.
Keyboard user.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's.
Oh yeah.
So many people.
That's one of the ones you had to wait for, right?
So
yeah, I think so.
So yeah, everyone who speedruns this game really hates Explodatorium, and one of the big reasons is these pots. As far as we can tell, they are on a global cycle that starts from the room before you first see them. I'm actually not sure if that's true. That's just the conclusion we've come to as a community. But there's a lot of things in this level where you have to move at just the right speed everywhere, and if you get hit once, now the pots are off cycle.
Evil.
And
it's an evil level.
It is.
With an evil boss. Which one of you is responsible for that?
Who came up with Plague Knight and why?
Yeah, that's you. Yeah, David. How does that? Is that true,
Dave?
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks a lot.
Maybe not.
Yeah, this is a really cool mini boss here. Drake is actually gonna juggle this explosive
nice.
and he missed it. You can juggle the explosive to hit that guy as soon as he transforms.
Oh wow. I love the exit too.
That's super cool.
There's also some interesting new tech coming up that Drake found out a couple weeks ago.
One of the things, the similarities to Mega Man, in some, older Mega Man games, the way the game decides what screen you're on is, it loads the ladders, and if you're holding a ladder at a certain point, you must be on this screen. So, yeah, you can just bounce off screen and grab a ladder.
Very nice.
That's great.
And once he learned that, it shaved about 10 seconds off his time. He got world record the next week.
Yep.
And then beat it again.
Then beat it again.
Here's another really cute thing. You can use the Dust Knuckles to kind of lift yourself up half a block and skip running through there.
By the way, Dust Knuckles, favorite weapon for sure.
Agreed.
Not every runner likes using the Dust Knuckles, and I think what's really interesting about this game is every runner does something a little differently, and it still works out fairly well for them.
It's not necessarily wrong, it's just personal preference. But so coming up is Plague Knight, and Plague Knight is awful.
Yep.
Plague Knight's initial 2 jumps are consistent based on where you land in this fight. And then after that, really all Plague Knight does, as far as we can tell, is just try and jump towards you and
you can
throw
predict
bombs,
how high he jumps, though.
Create platforms, blow them up, and just do all kinds of nasty and really annoying things.
Thanks, Dave.
But that was a really good fight right there.
Yeah.
I just
I
wanted
like
to.
armor choice. That was because of the donations, right?
You know, see if that fight wasn't as random, you wouldn't be clapping. That's such a good fight.
I see.
Oh, got it.
Quickly speaking of donations, I do want to remind the guys at home, we do still have the bid war for Save or Leave Behind the Knights, which we will be cutting off as he enters the boss rush area. So get your donations in for that now.
So yeah, personally, I'm a big fan of the Dust Knuckles. Drake is also a fan of the Dust Knuckles, and it has some cool uses in this level. Also, there's a really neat shell hit there where you trigger that platform with the shell, so you don't have to touch it. Saves like a second, but it just looks really cool. And Drake's actually not going to break that checkpoint, just because it's really slow to break checkpoints underwater with the floaty jump.
Oh, interesting.
Also, again, huge shout-outs to everyone who worked on the music with you guys, because this game has an absolutely amazing soundtrack.
I think this is one of the 2 tracks done by the Mega Man composer, right?
I think this is one of them.
Yeah, that's Manami Matsumae, who wrote the original Mega Man music, wrote this track and played next track.
There's like a YouTube video of both the composers just jamming at some convention to this song.
Oh yeah.
So
You can also, if you look in the crowd, you can see Sean and me dancing.
Completely sweaty.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was impact, bro.
Yeah, later on, there's a picture of me, and I'm just like completely soaking wet, and I have my arm around Manami, and she has like the weirdest look on her face. Yeah. Oh, what have I gotten myself into? But yeah, I mean, Jake and Manami absolutely knocked it out of the park. I mean, the soundtrack, I listened to it myself. Well done. Well done.
So during the auto-scroller preceding that mini-boss, you can actually ride on the treasure chest, and
There's a dude in that chest.
it's really, really cool to do. But many people have lost runs by falling off and dying, so we don't do that anymore. And again, there's a really cool thing in this room that we're not sure if it's intentional. It's just really neat. Where
Yeah, you
use
can
this
bounce
piece of
off
treasure,
that, right?
yeah, and skip the.
Yeah, that was intentional.
It's awesome.
It's such a cool skip.
Clever level design the entire way through the entire game.
Yeah.
A lot of these things are intentional, but we could only do it once.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good choice. Screw that guy.
Yeah, that's smart.
My favorite thing to do is try to figure out. Oh yeah, getting that missile perfectly.
Yeah,
aligned.
threading the needle. This part blew my mind the first time I saw it with bouncing on this guy's bullets.
Not sure how intentional it is,
So-
but
Actually, with really good timing, you can jump to the second anchor as it falls, land on it, jump off, and make it back to the platform.
That's
It's just,
terrifying.
it saves about a second, and you lose 2 minutes if you mess it up.
it
So.
saves 2 years off my life every time I watch it happen.
So you'll notice Drake is really destroying a lot of these bosses. Treasure Knight does actually have a quick kill, but Drake is actually going to kill him so fast it won't matter.
It's a quick kill.
That was
maybe not.
yeah, there it is.
Okay,
yeah,
there
very
it is.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can get stuck between him and the ceiling and just bounce on him until he's dead.
If
But
you just stay on the ceiling, then it'll take forever to fall to the bottom.
right,
Yeah,
that's
it takes
true.
extra long to fall down.
Not much time lost in that.
I actually hadn't thought about that, Drake. Very
Yeah.
good point.
This is why he has the record.
Yeah, this is why he's playing and not either of us. So.
Time for the second dream sequence, where the first time Drake will try to off himself as fast as possible.
Right,
Because
so after every 3 stages, the dream sequence is unskippable, and it has enemies, and you have to wait, I believe it's 30 seconds from when this cutscene ends to when Shield Knight falls. But if you die, it just ends. The trick with this one is, only the Knight's stab attack will do a full bubble of damage. So he needs to manipulate those Knights to hit him with the stab while avoiding the blue enemies, and the chomping enemies, and the bombs, and everything. But yeah, doing that triggers her to fall early and saves a good 15 seconds or so.
And in that chest is another health upgrade, but it's faster not to get it. He's going through the entire game with only 5 health.
And, well, even less after
Yeah.
this next shopping trip.
Well, you're going to the armory.
Yep, he's going to go pick up a shovel upgrade and some armor at the armor outpost. And it won't actually change his armor color because Drake is using a custom armor color.
Because we decided pink was the way to go.
It really is, but now he's wearing the Conjurer's mode?
It is the Conjurer's Coat.
Conjurer's Coat. And it gives him 50 additional mana at the cost of anytime he would take damage, he now takes an extra half heart of damage.
Yeah.
So things get a little scary at this point.
But that magic is so necessary.
It is required. I believe it also increases the likelihood of magic drops from enemies, but that really doesn't play a huge part in most of the run.
Yeah. I think the way that it works is when you defeat an enemy, then with the shovel, then they drop a magic pot. Yeah.
So those beetles, you can actually bounce off of them after you hit them, and if you bounce off of that one, you can get up to that platform much earlier.
That's so smart, yeah.
We were saying there were cockroaches earlier, but Drake corrected us so matter-of-factly and said they were beetles, and we were inclined to believe him.
We're just going to go with Drake's interpretation there. These green fan enemies are awful.
They will kill everyone ever if you let them.
Yeah, they have destroyed homes and families.
That's a David special for you.
Yeah, me too. We love that enemy like that.
So this ship is actually Drake came up with a really cool strat for this ship just about a week ago, where if you kill him by bouncing off of him on that last hit, you can end up on that ladder instead of having to bounce off the cannon.
Wow, that's cool.
It was something we'd never thought of doing, and it was really cool.
He spent about 20 minutes tracking how to kill it extremely effectively, and he's not really dropped it more than a handful of times since then.
So here Drake's going to pick up the propeller dagger, which is far and away the best item for a speedrun.
In the game.
It's just disgusting, how fast you can go by spamming the propeller dagger.
Literally just a knife with a motor on it.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a propeller and a dagger.
Propeller.
Yacht Club Games naming convention, Just stick a propeller on it, it'll be fine.
Wow, nicely done.
So, even though Quick Swap is in the game, that point specifically, you just need to pause to have the accuracy of switching to Dust Knuckles, because the window to do that is very small.
And falling would obviously cost a lot of time.
This is another auto-scroller, so if we have donation comments or if the devs would like to say something in particular, great time. Yeah.
That enemy's name is called the Hover Meanie, and we especially love him, but we're going to be putting out, I think, a list soon of all the official names of all the enemies.
Right.
And that's cool. Friends.
And if you can imagine it, the hover.
Don't worry, we will still make stuff up.
I love that.
I was going to say, if you can imagine it, the hover meanie, it was actually a lot more mean in earlier iterations.
Oh yeah, it was so much worse.
It's sort of disappointing how nice he is in this version, I would say.
So Drake's just going to wait here because
Fan cycles
depending
are
on that previous room, you're really not sure where you are in the fan cycle, and if you try and make that jump, you can get blown down.
There's a big skip coming up, so
yeah,
concentration.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yes!
Wow.
So, yeah, with some really precise propeller daggers and bouncing off of that floating jellyfish, you can make that in one cycle. And it is.
You broke the developers, Drake. Good job.
I love this
Well
game.
done.
We were talking about that before the run and saying how it was way too risky. He'd never do it.
He always does it.
Drake is a man. He goes for it.
So the Propeller Knight fight, Drake just keeps it real simple. Jump, slash, hack, slash, throw anchors. There's some strats that use the Chaos Orb. It's slightly faster. Also, Drake kills himself whenever possible.
The
after
devs
killing
were actually very nice about this. If you double kill a boss, the game will give you health back just to say, hey, you won. It's okay.
It's all good. We're
So
good.
Yeah, not only that, if you drop your money, it will automatically give your money back to you too.
That's actually cool.
I didn't know
never
that.
knew
Yeah. So this game takes a lot of inspiration from Castlevania. We've said it before. And what would Castlevania be without a clock tower?
Oops.
And something just fell over.
Everything is broken.
By the way, personal favorite track in the game?
Yeah, the rest of the music that wasn't done by Manami was done by Jay Kaufman, who is a master music man.
Drake linked me every stream he did when he was developing music for this game. Drake was neck deep into this game before the game even came out.
They were worth a watch,
Yeah.
the streams.
They were pretty good.
Yeah.
Very first thing Drake said as soon as he saw the Kickstarter for this game was, "I am speedrunning this game.
So-
I'm going to win this game."
I mean, what would a clock tower be without Medusa heads? Was that the inspiration? Like, we're making a clock tower anyway. Let's throw in some Medusa heads.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever want to work on a game that didn't have a Medusa head in it.
I mean, admittedly, those flying... I'm not actually sure what they are. Flying lances?
They're
are
rockets.
pretty tame.
They look like rockets.
Yeah.
They're knives with jets on them.
Alright, I'll go with that.
Are they called jet knives?
They are jet knives with jets on them.
Yeah, no, they're called sign knives or sign daggers because they go to sign padding.
Oh,
okay.
So anyway, there's like an auto-scroller here, but the devs just gave us a moving platform, so we're not gonna...
So nice.
Yeah.
Let's ride the gear.
Originally, the strategy here involved lots of phase lockets and propeller daggers, and that was stupid.
Yeah. And you could just ride a hype train made of dreams across this fight.
So yeah, and there's also some good old wall chicken on that ladder because, you know, we're gonna have a Castlevania stage. Let's have some wall chicken.
Yeah, you know, when it's all pointed out all at once, it's like, oh man, it really is. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
So were you planning to make this a speed game when you made it?
During the process, yeah, it was definitely like a thing that would be brought up as a valid concern anytime we're talking about a future
Right.
implementation.
Well, like what? Yeah. What about speedruns?
Yeah,
Like, is this going to take too long? Is this going to have way too much randomness? Is this going to be unskippable? You know, like the campfire sequences are an example. You know, we made initially they weren't all skippable, but we made them. We made all of them skippable except for the ones where you had to do the fighting, just so we could move everything along faster if you wanted to. You know, the conversations only happen the first time you fight, and you can skip everything by pressing start. I mean, we're very much. If you don't want to do the narrative, you don't have to.
Right.
So-
yeah, it seems
So
like
quick kill?
Yeah, Tinker Knight dies to his own gear. Drake didn't go for it because no one has ever gotten it in a run, but it's actually possible to throw the gear through screen transitions, and it's theoretically possible to do that and then land on it and ride it into Tinker Knight. It's just never happened.
Ruins his day.
So yeah, the devs clearly intended you to climb this guy and get on the spinning drill, and then you fall off when he rears back. But as it turns out, you can hit him twice with each anchor, so that's just a huge waste of time.
Nice.
Wow.
We'll just
Nice.
bypass everything with magic.
That was a good fight.
Well done. Yeah, well done.
And Drake's making sure to quick swap to the propeller dagger after each of these stages, so we can propeller dagger out of the campfire scene and just save a little extra time.
Walking is lame when you have a propeller dagger.
Here's a really neat trick found by a friend of mine. Is yeah, just hit that beetle and bounce off of him. It works apparently.
Uh-huh. I swear I choke more on this level than any other.
Me too.
It can be pretty rough, honestly.
Obligatory ice level.
Yeah, this level's deceptively difficult. I think it's just because everything does more damage than I would expect.
So really interesting thing to note here, that jump doesn't work if you have VSync off.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in this game doesn't work. Just it messes with you in weird ways if you have VSync off.
And like even the
We're
setup,
noticing that, and yeah, hopefully that's something that we'll be able to address.
even the setup for the propeller knight, like skip that he did on the air current level does not work on VSync. You have to like wing it if you have VSync off.
So in this room, the developers clearly intended you to break those blocks and raise the statue, but we have a propeller dagger.
Yeah, why?
Nice. Yeah.
Why bother?
That's so scary to me.
Oh, what did he do?
There are just so many really cool uses for items like Dust Knuckles. You can just use them in really silly places like that
This
to
is
skip
why
ladders.
Drake so heavily advocates the use of Dust Knuckles and
Unfortunately, we've tried many times, but you cannot actually seem to grab any of these ladders from the screen below.
yeah.
Man,
Even
I should just take the door.
I've actually messed around with it using the God mode cheat, and there just seems to be like an invisible wall there that prevents you from getting to it.
That's because there's an invisible wall there.
Oh, all right. Well, now I know.
Okay.
The more you know.
Well then.
Yeah,
Like, more
actually,
spikes.
pretty much every room in this game, we had to go and wall off with invisible collision on the top. Like if you fall down into a room, then we had to hand put a collision up on the top, so you couldn't jump back out and get on the spikes or whatever.
Yeah, there's some problems with like being able to skip a room, but like, you're actually dying as you're doing it, and it was a big deal.
So yeah, Vic's just gonna use the phase locket here and stand in his face.
Wow.
And
Nice.
really good polo knife. That was beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah, not practice state,
I'm so happy. Just watching this run, I'm so happy that Quick Select is in this game now. It's like,
It's amazing.
Final dream sequence that is unskippable. It's much easier to off yourself this time because you take extra damage.
Right,
And,
and
the pattern
most
is the
enemies
same.
do a full part of damage in this one anyway. You don't have to actually fish for a specific attack.
Now would be a somewhat good time to read a donation or two.
Okay, I can do that. Not a problem at all. I have a $150 donation from an anonymous donor. He says, Shovel Knight is amazing and the Mega Man block is coming up. But I didn't need sleep anyway. Keep up the great work, guys. You're doing truly remarkable. And I have a $250 donation merely from the Blue Chest Mimic, who says, good luck with the run, Drake, Tycho. And one more I have from Max V, $100. I've been watching and donating since 2011, and I love it every year. I have to donate during Shovel Knight. I was actually one of the director for a day backers. The enemy I helped design doesn't roam the map. You are welcome, speedrunners. But you can blame me for the liquid ninjas in the tower. Sorry. Sorry.
Max,
nice.
how's it going, Max?
And he says, best of luck to all the runners. For justice! For shovel justice!
Yeah, the director for a day stuff was during our Kickstarter. If you donated $1,000, you could help us design a boss or an enemy or whatever. And so most people opted to design the bosses, and that's what those wandering encounters are. The three guys that run the map, and then Mr. Hat. And then the last one, which is, oh yeah, this is like,
this is hair-raising.
This is scary. The last one is the samurai, the liquid samurai in the tower stages are designed by Max, which honestly just donated again. Wow.
I'll be honest, the liquid samurai are probably some of the least annoying enemies in this game, so good job, Max.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, in that previous scene, there was a fairly regulation crusher that you see in...
You can, good job, Drake.
But Drake just chooses not to wait for it and just propeller blades through the entire thing.
Color dagger's too good.
This room's full of annoying liquid samurais, but you can also just propeller dagger over them, so.
Yeah.
This is just a really cool room aesthetically.
Yeah.
Like it kind of takes the gimmick from Spectre Knight stage and really expands on it in a really neat way.
Yeah, this is also the room that's best for live streams.
Yeah, just the amount of rain on screen.
And
yeah, just compression.
Coming up, this fan enemy is the bane of speedrunning,
God.
and we all hate him.
We all hate him.
He is awful. He has killed more runs than probably anything else.
We're just going to pin that one on Dave, too.
So this is actually Black Knight 3. We didn't see Black Knight 2, and we're very glad for that.
Thanks again.
Yeah, there are a couple of different strategies. Assuming he doesn't jump, then Drake's just going to try and jump and shovel him into the corner again, but he can teleport out. Spamming the propeller dagger is also a viable strategy, although sometimes, again, he will get out and get his wings on. This boss actually does a lot, and he's really
Yeah.
cool and well designed, and we won't be seeing any of that.
Yeah, he does a lot of things. He tries to dive bomb you. He can conjure meteors and then shovel the meteors to explode them. He can reflect shots back at you. It's a ridiculously intense fight if you're trying to do it normally, and it's really, really cool.
There's an achievement for beating him like Phantom Ganon, where you knock projectiles back and forth with him.
It is possible, though unlikely, to just stun lock him exactly like you did in your first fight with him. And he never goes into the wing phase or any second part of it. And I've only seen that happen once, and that was a couple hours ago when Drake did it.
I think I've gotten it once or twice in runs, but
I've never done it.
I mean, it's really hard.
You know, it's nuts because the next thing that we're working on for the updates is Plague Knight, playable Plague Knight with all new mobility. So I've been playing through this game for the past, I don't know, for the past few months as Plague Knight, and so to watch a Shovel Knight speedrun like this is like really crazy.
Well, yeah, it's also exciting to know that like you guys are gonna, I think, get a really big kick out of Plague Knight because his mobility is totally different.
And it's pretty neat.
Personally, I've been waiting for Plague Knight to kind of return to the Shovel Knight any % scene, and I know a lot of people have been too. So we are eagerly anticipating Plague Knight.
It's
Also,
gonna
I'm
be
pretty
great.
sure this is something everyone did in their casual playthrough.
Definitely.
Just
Like, why bother with that?
First playthrough went right up. My first playthrough, I went right up there.
So now is a great time for donations, by the way.
The longest auto
Alrighty.
scroller in the game.
We have a $200 donation saying Capndrake Shovel Knight is amazing. Thank you, Mr. Cab. We have a $500 donation from CaseyTron55 saying, let's raise this barn for charity, boys. We have a $91 anonymous donation saying, I love Shovel Knight and I've been watching GDQ for a few years now. I'm giving what I can for a good cause, but an awesome entertainment. Let's beat cancer. Thank you. And we do have one here that has a small question for the Des, which is, when do we see Capndrake Knight?
So you'll notice the auto-scroller does load a little bit above the screen, but not the entire thing. So Drake's just going to keep jumping above the screen and landing on blocks that aren't there yet.
Yeah.
And right now he's actually going to go get wall chicken off screen. Or now he is.
I have another silly little thing. It's completely irrelevant to just about anything. When you push down, Shovel Knight does a little squat. It's like the funniest thing ever because you can do little dances and stuff with it, and you can do it during cutscenes too. Was that always your intent for it, pretty much?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that happened very specific. It was in the armory in the room with Yoppler and the chicken, the rooster jet, and
This is the
and
refight
everyone was idling and sort of ducking, and I was like, man, I want to idle with them, or like I want to dance with them, and then like an hour later it was in there.
So
And it just ended up being the funnest little tough.
this is the obligatory Mega Man refight section, but with a really annoying twist in that the boss order is completely random. Which doesn't sound too bad until you realize if Plague Knight shows up last or 7th, things get really awkward because you're generally almost out of magic. So yeah, the couple of bosses that require magic showing up late mean you have to conserve a lot of your magic early. And it can just get awkward, especially with the magic armor and only 5 health.
There is also no checkpoints in this. If you die, you gotta start it all over.
You do the entire thing again, and double kills here don't count.
I have lost a run to the last person before, and I was sad.
I think many runners have lost to Plague Knight 8th and just
It was
been
Propeller 8th,
furious.
actually. I choked.
Well, then no excuse.
also, we're going to want the results of
I've
the...
got it
Yeah,
right
got it,
here.
yeah.
I've got it right here. We will be saving the Knights.
Oh. So that attack actually steals your money.
What a jerk.
Saving the Knights had $1,851 behind it, and Leave the Knights had 506.
So there's a really cool trick Drake can do here if Tinker Knight winds up being the last knight, but we'll see if that happens or not.
Not bad either.
That was a pretty good Plague fight.
Yep.
Ah, no.
You
So
jinxed it.
If Tinker Knight winds up being the last knight, you can actually throw the gear before he jumps out and just hit him as soon as he lands.
Oh,
Because you know he has to be coming next.
Right.
But what about Drake Knight?
And Drake wants to conserve his mana here for Propeller and for Spectre a little, so he jumped up and bopped Tinker on the head a few times.
And every second fight, you get a magic refill of 30.
Right.
Alright, Drake will probably just use a couple of Flare Rod shots here against Spectre to save the magic to finish off Propeller. Getting a little unlucky with these teleport positions, but it's still pretty good refight.
Yeah, super solid. I mean,
The Propeller Knight refight is pretty interesting.
yeah. Jeez, that fits
Yeah,
into
there it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. Very nice.
It looks so easy, and it is so easy, and I still choke on it.
So are we saving him?
We're saving
We
them.
are
Yes.
saving them.
Yep.
They're
So-
actually hanging in the order you killed them.
Which is really great if Tinker Knight happens to be the first one.
Half a
And
foot tall.
you can actually talk to all of them, and they have some unique quotes. And King Knight actually even has a quote if you're wearing the golden armor, where he'll compliment your choice of dress.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts. It's just like saving him, you know.
So we're coming up on the final boss, both forms, and again, as Tessie has mentioned, one of the really cool parts about Shovel Knight in the speedrunning community is that everyone has their own like strategies for a lot of things, but in particular, Enchantress 1 is like the freestyle competition of Shovel Knight. You know, Drake's gonna do a really cool strategy where he bats your projectiles back at her. I know some people use anchors. Personally, I jump below the floor and punch her. I mean, you can do really whatever you want.
Yeah, that was like our most epic thing, right? It's like, oh, can you kill her like with a shovel drop down, like, you know, below the sand?
I mean, there was a
Or
strategy
anchor
for a
drop
while
her.
where we like burrowed a hole in the middle two blocks and then bounced between the top block and her. And, you know, everyone has come up with a different way to fight her, and
By the way,
it's great.
Those rising and falling platforms are only solid when they're fully up. Don't try to rush them, you'll fall.
Sometimes with VSync off, they will just randomly kill
Yeah.
you. So, the first screen.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
fix that.
And those dives are all random. He's gonna
Are you doing
gonna
it,
do
Drake?
the thing.
No,
He's
no. She had 3 health. He could only do 2
Oh, he's
consistently.
gunning for the thing.
No, he's gonna have to wait.
Your hubris cost you
Something-
one more
I was
second.
always hoping Enchantress 1 would become a fishing pole strat.
Something funny to mention.
Yeah, you
Oh,
like you
sorry.
hit her with the fishing pole at the end.
Yeah, the fishing pole works on her. Something funny to mention, if you're in God mode or DuckTales mode where you can bounce off of anything, you can actually jump into that cutscene bouncing and kill her while she's above the screen. And the game will continue as normal, and then when you're holding Shield Knight here, you'll still be bouncing
By
with
the way,
Shield Knight.
time is when her health bar hits 0.
Yeah, so be ready on time.
Really interesting fight with a lot of probabilities of just going wrong for no reason.
So, I mean, what you're supposed to do here is bounce off of Shield Knight and then bounce on her head, but you could just Propeller Dagger against her. Much faster.
Yeah, initially, instead of darting away like that, she would shoot a volley of fireballs at you, like over and over again.
Time.
If you tried to do
Nice.
that.
Good job, Drake.
Wow, nicely done.
What is that?
Not a
Is
bad
that-
run.
What's your PB?
46-41.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's a really good run.
That's about 2 minutes
That's
faster
that's
than
an
mine.
incredible run.
Yeah.
By the way, I promised Drake before the run that I would donate $20 if he didn't die. He never died, so I'm donating $20 to a good thing of his choice.
New world record for save the Knights %.
Yeah, that's true.
It is a new world record for Save the Knights %. So I will definitely donate at some point. I will get a hold of it.
Technically a world record, yeah!
Hype.
The credits melody is probably the best music in the game. It's wonderful. But yeah, and anyone have anything to say? Thank you so much to the Yacht Club
thank you
Games
very
devs who
much.
came out and did some commentary. You know, we love your game, and it's really great to see developers who are so in touch with their community. It's
Well, yeah, and thank you guys so much. I mean, it's been our dream to watch exactly what we just watched on exactly this show, right? Like, I mean, ever since it's like, oh man, wouldn't it be so cool if we could be on this? And it's like, yeah, here it is. So yeah, thank you guys.
I'm sorry, we have one more question for you guys. That fish, the Fish King. It's Trout and Apple. Is his name the Troupple King, or how do you pronounce that? That's been a big
that's a
debate.
good question.
Yeah, you got it. It's the Trout.
The Troupple King. Good to know.
Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah, a
dead.
lot of people were saying the Trouble King, like a dance troupe, I guess, or
But that
like
makes
an
no
army,
sense
and
because
that
it's a
makes a lot
trout
of sense
and an
too.
apple.
That's why.
But it's supposed to be Trout Apple, the Trouble
Yeah,
King.
definitely.
Yeah.
King of fish and fruit.
Arguably the best character on the show.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the developers on Skype.
Thanks again, you guys are great.
Thanks for having you guys a lot.
Yeah, and congrats, Capndrake. I mean, that was super amazing. Especially the propeller wind thing with one run.
God, yeah.
That was just like my heart was in my throat. That's like really incredible. We never did anything like that here in the office.
Just imagine you could do a single, like a one-cycle power knife like that. So that's really great.
And that's a pretty incredible display of skill.
And let's hear it for the mind-blowing Capndrake.
Absolutely.
We're gonna throw it to a Twitch commercial here, and we will see you on the other side.
All right. Good run, good run.